Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to step directly into the shoes of a practitioner to figure out how to take some seriously profound philosophical principles and actually apply them to the grind of our daily lives. If you've ever felt like you're just constantly swimming against the current, well, we're going to unpack a fascinating framework for finding ease simply by complying with nature and practicing non-contention. Let's dive right in.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll start by looking at different life trajectories, move on to the wisdom of following nature, then practice non-contention, embrace love and faith, and finally wrap up with how to actually start living that smooth life.
All right, part one, different life trajectories.
So have you ever stopped and wondered why some people seem to just breeze through life, completely worry-free, while others are stuck on this constant, exhausting roller coaster of pain and trouble? We look around and honestly, we often look at our own lives and see all these ups and downs. Is it destiny? Is it society? Or from the perspective of a true practitioner, are we just looking at the wrong root cause entirely? Think about how we actually get the basic things we need every single day. The text points out a really stark contrast here. Acquiring your resources through your own honest hard work creates one very specific type of reality. But conversely, acquiring them through things like extortion, theft, or deception, that creates a completely different, deeply troubled realm of experience. The daily choices we make literally dictate our outcomes. So if we want a different outcome, it makes sense that we need to choose a totally different path.
Moving right along to part two, wisdom of following nature.
To navigate our everyday routines smoothly, the source text introduces what it calls the way of the greatest creator. You can really just think of this as our ultimate roadmap. The argument here is that if our lives are full of roadblocks and endless friction, it's pretty much proof that we've veered off this path. So let's break down the actual, actionable connotations of this way to understand how a practitioner actually lives it out. Okay, the first major concept is compliance with nature and absolute non-coercion. And I just absolutely love this analogy from the text. Eats peaches when he encounters peaches, eats apricots when he encounters apricots. It's so grounded, right? As practitioners, this means we just take things as they come without trying to force the outcome. We don't strong-arm ourselves, and we definitely don't coerce others. You let what comes come, and you let what goes go. It's all about naturally taking advantage of opportunities as they pop up in your daily life, adjusting yourself to reality rather than exhausting yourself trying to force reality to adjust to you.
Which brings us to part three, practicing non-contention. True practice means that our inner peace stays completely independent of whatever's going on in our external environment. Think about it like this. If we happen to stay in a 5-star hotel, there's zero arrogance. But if we're living in a simple thatched house, we maintain the exact same total peace of mind. We feel genuine gratitude for gourmet food, but we are just as content eating something incredibly plain. It's all about building this profound, rock-solid internal stability that simply refuses to let external circumstances dictate our emotional baseline. And building on that internal stability, how do we act externally? Well, as practitioners, we don't contend and we don't compete. The text uses this beautiful phrase, takes only a sip from thousands of rivers. That is how we actively avoid greed in our daily routines. By putting the public first and letting go of things that are naturally leaving our lives anyway, we essentially bypass all the adversity that normally plagues a super competitive, coercive mindset. Now for part four, embracing love and faith. Here, love isn't just a feeling, it's a daily, non-restrictive action. In this framework, practitioners focus on giving without constantly asking for returns. We bring freedom to others without setting up barriers or secretly trying to control them. We actively cherish and respect all forms of life. By acting as a facilitator for other people's freedom rather than a roadblock, you naturally avoid making enemies. And think about it, without enemies, your life just naturally becomes so much smoother and unimpeded.
The final element in this section is faith. Interestingly, the source material draws on the teachings of Jesus Christ to illustrate a really powerful psychological mechanism. The idea is that having absolute faith means trusting a higher power to provide exactly what is needed, and by doing this, we are entirely relieved of our daily, grinding anxieties over tomorrow, whether we're stressing about food, clothing, housing, or getting older. Removing that massive mental burden of worry ensures the road ahead is safe and clear.
Finally, part five, starting a smooth life. So let's bring all of these concepts together. They actually form a complete, practical toolkit for our daily lives. The text argues that if we strictly adopt these 4 pillars, complying with nature without forcing things, practicing non-contention and selflessness,
acting with unconditional love that empowers others, and maintaining absolute faith to banish our anxiety, then a smooth life isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. Conversely, if we constantly intervene, compete, act selfishly, and force things against the natural flow, we're basically signing ourselves up for pain and obstacles.
And that leaves us with a pretty direct, provocative challenge from the author. If you currently find yourself constantly battling adversity, constantly stressed out, or constantly having to compete, does this philosophy resonate with you? Are you ready to adjust your consciousness, let go of all that coercion, and truly practice this path of non-contention in your own daily life? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it gave you some valuable, real-world tools to navigate your own path forward.